Pay attention, you bastards.
So Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has lost a staggering 60 pounds. 60 pounds, and they got the internet going crazy. If you haven't seen, check it out. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh man, he off the drugs, man, he off the steroids, man, he been taking steroids for so long. You know what I'm saying? He finally off. And you got other people saying, nah, man, the dude just trying to take care of himself. But in reality, what he's really doing is he's done an MMA movie about Mark Kerr. So this new film is called The Smashing Machine. I'm gonna definitely check it out, man, because you know, The Rock is one of them guys, man. He's been around for a long time. Great actor. Been able to transition from I'm talking about back when it was WWF. That's when I was watching it. When it was WWF, not WWE. You know, but he took that platform and was able to run with it and become one of the biggest action stars in the world. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta give an applause for that. We gotta give an applause for that. You know what I'm saying? But I be feeling like I be on the fence about a lot of these roads that people take, where it's like they gotta lose hella weight, they gotta get super small. I'm always on the fence about it, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm just like, bro, like, is it gonna be that big of a role for you to where you gotta do all of that? I remember when 50 Cent did the role in the beginning of his acting career, where he did that role where he had to lose hella weight, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, bro, like, was it worth it? I mean, I don't know, you know what I mean? I look at it like the movie didn't really do good. It didn't seem like it did good, but for him, you know, it might have been worth it. It might have kicked off a lot of things for him, you know what I'm saying? And it might have took his game to a whole nother level. So that's what I'm assuming with The Rock. But The Rock is already The Rock, you know what I'm saying? Like, The Rock is already, you know, a household name. So him doing this, I'm kind of just like, man, like, is it really that? You know, that's what he's saying, and that's what you know, that's what is being said about it. But it's just like, I do think, you know, is it that? Is it that? Because we've seen, you know, artists lose weight, and you know, we kind of like, oh, he doing bad, all this and that, but you know, it could be sickness as well. You know what I'm saying? If you look at Chadwick Boseman, like everybody kind of sat back and was like, yo, dang, he skinny, like he looking bad. Like you see little pictures of him, you know, little videos of him, whatever, and you think he doing bad, or you think he just losing weight, or he's not on top of his game, you know, and it's like, whole time the guy is sick. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. You know, rest in peace, Black Panther. You know, I hope that this is not one of the cases, but, you know, you never know. You know what I'm saying? So I've been seeing pictures and videos around the internet. You know, like I said, internet been going crazy. You know what I mean? And I'm sitting back as a fan like, man, bro, like, you know, if y'all remember The Rock, how I remember The Rock, you know, which, you know, that's when I really became a fan of The Rock, you know, back late 90s, early 2000s, you know what I'm saying, where he really built his name. You know what I'm saying? And like since then, I'm like, bro, like to see what he's become, to see what level he took it to, bro, is amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, he was already that big star. You know what I'm saying? He was already the guy. To me, he was one of my favorite wrestlers. Probably my favorite wrestler outside of, you know, you remember Stone Cold Steve Austin. You know what I mean? You remember Kane. You remember Undertaker. You know what I'm saying? You remember who else? Mick Foley, Mankind. You know what I mean? Who else was up there? You know what I'm saying? Get in the chat. Let me know who was y'all favorite wrestlers coming up. You know what I mean? But The Rock was one of them guys. The Rock was that guy that's like, especially being black, to me, it was like, it made you just kind of look at wrestling different, to me. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the guys was white. You know what I mean? A lot of the guys was, you had some Hispanic guys, you know, but mainly, to me, it was a white sport. You know what I'm saying? Even though you had black guys, and obviously you had black guys prior to The Rock, but just as a young black kid, you see him and you like, bro, like he the guy. You know what I'm saying? Like he's the guy that's representing us. You know what I'm saying? And that meant a lot to me as a kid to see that. You know what I mean? So, you know, again, to see what he's become, you know, is you know, is one of them things that you sit back and be like, damn, like, because again, who's bigger? Who went from wrestling and went to that level? You got John Cena that's acting. You got Stone Cold. He do his thing. You got Goldberg. He's doing his thing. But no one has from that roster of wrestlers. No one has made it that big. You know what I'm saying? And again, wrestling itself is huge. You know what I'm saying? But to go from a huge industry and transition into you know, acting, into doing movies and doing some of the top movies, you know what I'm saying? You got to give respect where respect is due. You got to, man. So again, man, shout out The Rock, shout out The Rock, shout out The Rock. You know, I just hope that, you know, this transition is what he's saying it is. You know what I mean? Is, you know, him just preparing for a movie. I hope that it's that. You know what I mean? Because when you know, anybody know that go to the gym, when you're on your shit in the gym, when you know, when you are really into it that way, you can push yourself, man. Like, you know, I'm a person that goes to the gym, right? I'm not nowhere close to the level as far as fitness as like somebody like The Rock, like on some bodybuilding shit, but like I am, like, I go to the gym, I try to take care of myself, but as a person that goes to the gym, I understand, you know, that when you want to look a certain way, it's a lot that comes with that. It's a lot. People that don't go to the gym, you might not understand that. It's a lot of 5, 6, sometimes 7-day a week workouts. You know what I'm saying? You're eating heavily every single day. You know what I mean? You're taking supplements like a protein, like a creatine, you know, sometimes you're taking a weight gainer, sometimes you're taking a supplement's gonna cut, you know what I mean? So you can slim up to look a certain way. You know what I mean? So working out is a job within itself. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying this to say that I want people to understand too, you know, if outside of the role of what he's talking about, he could be in a place where he like, bro, like I'm tired, man. Like think about this. The Rock has been really going hard. I'm talking about gym wise, 6, 7 days a week. You know, just in his career, right? Forget acting, right? Let's talk about from him playing football in the 80s to the mid to late 80s, him getting into wrestling through the 90s, early 90s, mid 90s, late 90s to early 2000s all the way till now. You know what I'm saying? And we've seen him go like this. We've seen it. We've seen him go up. We ain't seen The Rock really slim down like that. Now, he did have a little time frame. Like, it was like a little period where he was like getting more slim, you know, cutting up a little bit, but then he went right back to like, you know, where he was. You know what I mean? And even bigger, right? So I'm saying that to say is like, we got to understand that, like, you know, and for those of you who don't understand, like, working out is a real job. You know what I'm saying? So I think outside of him doing this role, he could easily be tired. He could easily be like, man, let me calm it down. You know what I'm saying? Because even though working out, you know, you do it for health, it can be unhealthy if you're doing it at a high level like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could look at any of the guys, like I'm talking about from Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know what I mean, all the way to you know, to all the wrestlers, you know what I'm saying, all athletes, football, basketball, whatever it may be. Like, this working out thing is not, it's not something that's easy on the body all the time. While it's good to take care of yourself and eat good and exercise, when you in that gym and you lifting heavy every single day, that shit is like, it takes a toll on your body. You know what I'm saying? It does take a toll on your body. And because you're doing it every day, you run the risk of getting hurt. I've been in the gym, I've been hurt, like not stretching, not taking care of yourself the way you're supposed to take care of yourself, not doing the necessary things, outside of just working out. Like I said, stretching, yoga, these are things that I really got to get on. Like I've been on the stretching because I hurt myself not too long ago, where I couldn't walk. Like I go in the gym, I'm doing bent over rows. For those of you who don't know, bent over rows, like you're bending forward and you have the dumbbells and you're bringing the dumbbells up like this. You know what I'm saying? And it's for your back, but I didn't stretch that day. And a lot of days I don't be on the stretching shit. You know what I mean? I just would try to get in there, get the workout in, and be on my day. But this particular day, I go in there, man, and I'm stretching. Well, I don't stretch. I go in there, and I'm just like, man, forget the stretch. I go in there, and I just start hitting the weight. Boom, boom. And I'm hitting like, I think the dumbbells I was doing was like 70-pound dumbbells, right? And and mind you, I've already had issues with my back, with my lower back, right? But this particular time, I hit the dumbbells, boom, boom, and I just hear something pop in my back. It was like I heard it and felt it in my back. I put the weight down, and I'm like, oh shit, like this is gonna be bad, because I could feel it. You know what I'm saying? Long story short, bro, I was down for probably like a month and a half, and I still can feel it. I still can feel the pain. It's not as bad, but I can still feel it. But I was messed up to the point where I couldn't walk. I couldn't go to work like that. I couldn't stand up without pain. I couldn't sit. Like if I'm sitting down and I'm in pain, I'm standing up and I'm in pain. I'm trying to lay down, I'm in pain. I'm walking in pain. You know what I'm saying? So everything was just pain. So again, man, with working out and with being in the gym for a great period of time, you go through those injuries. You go through those things of like, man, I got to calm down. I got to like relax a little bit. I got to give my body some time to kind of, relax. Because if you add it the way The Rock been at it for years, you got to think like he never really stops. You know what I'm saying? And again, I'm what? Right now I'm like I'm about 210, 212 right now. And I fluctuate. I'm 5'10", 5'11", right? 5'11" on a good day. I wear my good shoes. You feel me? When I wear my good shoes. Nah, nigga like 5'10", 5'11". But you gotta understand, The Rock, I believe, is like, I want to say The Rock is like 6'3". He probably like 6'3", like 300 pounds. So you got to understand, like, what he's eating, the workout he's doing, and again, I'm just working out to kind of stay fit. This nigga's working out on some like, bro, like, I mean, y'all see it. Y'all see the size he at. To do that consistently for multiple we're not talking about he was big for 5 years. We talking about The Rock been big since the 80s. You know what I'm saying? If you really think about that, since the 80s all the way to 2025-ish. And he's still big. I'm not saying he's just super small, but to carry that much weight, especially when as you're older, it's a hard thing. You know what I'm saying? So I think outside of him, getting, doing this role and, things like that, I think that it's probably a health thing. You know what I'm saying? I think that it's probably, him just trying to slow down a little bit. I think it's probably like him saying, damn, like, man, it's hard to throw these weights up. And again, I don't know what supplements he take. A lot of people will say he takes steroids. I don't know. I don't know what that man take. I know he big as shit. You know what I'm saying? But I don't like to throw the steroid thing on people, because some people will be like, oh, he big, he takes steroids. But it's like, whole time, Nah, he's just really on his diet. Because again, for those of you who don't know, you could the weight that he's at, the size that he's at, you could eat 6,000 calories per day, right? And this is what like body, like when you see big guys like the Rocks, the Ronnie Coleman's, the the guys that you look at and be like, dang, this nigga big. These dudes is eating 6,000 calories per day. These dudes is eating 300 grams of protein per day or better. You know what I'm saying? And for those of you who don't really understand that, imagine like 6,000 calories is, let's break it into meals. 6,000 calories a day would be 6 big ass meals. You talking about one meal, let's say breakfast, you eating for 1,000 calories. Let's say breakfast, you eating 2 pancakes, 4 pieces of bacon, you eating 3-4 eggs, you got syrup, whatever, right? That's one meal, right? So a guy like that size is eating 6 of those per day, right? So, while you would eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, he's eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, and in between that, he eating different meals. So it might be 2 breakfasts, it might be 2 dinners, it might be 2 lunch, like however he puts it together. You know what I'm saying? So imagine you're doing 2 breakfasts, 2 lunch, and 2 dinners. You know what I'm saying? And then going to the gym. You know what I'm saying? And then you got to eat you can't just eat anything. You got to eat a certain way. So I'm saying to say is that it's very possible to do that shit and be that big without taking steroids. Because a lot of people throw the steroid shit around. And it's very possible to be that big, you know what I mean, without taking steroids. So, but you have to eat like that. You know what I'm saying? You're going to the gym probably 6 days a week. You know what I mean? So, but even with that, right? Even with that, think about what I just said. You're going to the gym 6 days a week, lifting heavy weight. To be that big, you got to lift heavy and you got to eat heavy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying to say is that, think about that. If you're doing that over decades and decades and decades, you're going to get tired. You know what I'm saying? So, man, at the end of the day, man, I hope that he cool. I hope that he's not sick and he's messed up like that. I hope that he's really just doing it for the role and doing it to take better care of himself. But all we can do is pray on it, man. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, man, like The Rock, man, I put The Rock in that category of greats. You know what I'm saying? To be consistent in whatever it is you're doing since the 80s, and make it to be known as one of the biggest action stars in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like that says something. That's dedication. That's legacy. You know what I'm saying? So, man, shout out The Rock, man. Again, shout out The Rock. Salute. And I hope that everything is everything. But again, man, as always, man, I appreciate y'all watching. I appreciate the love and support. Make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe. I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one.